Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Today I have a special live with an amazing guy, George Bruno. Let me send him an invite. Invite George Bruno. He is an online influencer, YouTuber. He's like a guru. And I want him to be able to help you guys out with things in life. Oh, I can't find him. Let me see. Try it this way. George. There we go. Found it. All right, sent him an invite. Hey, how's it going, everybody? So just stay tuned. My guest will be here shortly, the great George Bruno. I want to talk to him and kind of pick his brain about many things. You know, he's got a great perspective on life and stuff. I really enjoy his content. I discovered him a year ago, and I think he has a lot that many people all around the world can take from and learn from it. And so let's see. Let's wait for him to show up here. Yeah, I know. He's a great guy. Let's see. Got the invite. He said he was ready. Just give it a few minutes. Funny thing, there he is. Hop on in here. Alex, you don't want to miss this one, buddy. This is a good one. It's not going to necessarily be about English. It's more about hacks of life. Brandon, you don't want to miss this one either. I'm going to have a really amazing guest on. He should be on any minute now. Okay, yeah, just join in, George. I sent you the link. Try to click on the camera to get on. I sent you the request. Just push on the little camera icon on the bottom there. Hopefully, it should bring you on with me. Just waiting to accept you, man. Can't wait for my audience to get to know who you are. You have touched many lives, and I want to help to be a conduit. Here it's midday, right? It's midday, so don't worry, Brandon, if you can't catch it live. I'm gonna save this in my feed. It's midday. I combined with George here. It's 11 a.m. for him, and it's 8 a.m. for you in the West Coast. All right. I don't know if he's having trouble hopping on here. Yeah. I guess he can't get on. George. There we go. Invite. Anyways, so this guy I'm gonna bring on, he does a lot of good work. If you guys don't know who he is, he does have a YouTube channel, which I do recommend all of you guys check him out. I'm sharing with my friends. Yeah, thanks, Alex. That's awesome. Like I said, today's not going to necessarily be about English, more like life in general, life hacks. I think this guy has a lot to share with a lot of different people. And I've had the privilege of being on live on his YouTube channel. In fact, I want to say he helped me break 1,000 subscribers last December when I went on live with him. Oh, George Bruno, here he is. Yes, here we go. Got him. think I got him. Go live with George Bruno. Yeah. Got you. How you doing?
How's my audio?
You sound perfect. You look great.
Perfect.
Not too shiny on top.
Good. That's the shea butter.
Yeah, nice. I just caught your unboxing video as I was setting up here. So
very good.
I was kind of giving an intro to who you are while I waited for you to jump on. But if you want to introduce yourself to my audience, that'd be great.
Yeah, my name is George Bruno. I'm a former psychotherapist and have a trade as a stylist barber. That is my trade. I come from the belief that every man should have a profession and a trade, something he can do with his hands. I'm a writer, a speaker, a coach. I see about anywhere between 10 and 12 men a week and helping them get unstuck in areas of life, love, and career. I have a YouTube channel, George Bruno. I have a free newsletter that anyone can sign up for at georgebruno.com. And it's mostly men. I have some women subscribers, and they find it helpful as well. But yeah, I'm on Patreon as well. So patreon.com/George Bruno. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So it's funny how you mentioned the trade and profession, because I had put that on my list to talk to you about kind of towards the end of the list, not necessarily the beginning, but the fact that you had mentioned it, let's hit on it. I think that's a really strong point. Now, I do agree with you, but I'd like for you to elaborate a little more. Why do you think it's important to have both a trade and profession?
Because I think one is the most dangerous number.
Yeah, true.
It's like one income stream. When that goes, what do you have? That's why I like to say you need to have between 10 and 15 income streams. And each one of those income streams should be able to pay for your monthly expenses.
Yeah, good, true.
I do believe that. So one is the most dangerous number. So start with 2. You could blindfold me, put a parachute on my back, fly me anywhere over the United States, drop me off wherever I land in the United States. I can be working and making money by the end of that day with my trade.
Yeah, it's good. I feel like I'm in that camp as well. I don't know if you've heard the news, but we are actually making the move back. I got the date. I bought the tickets. So I'll be back in the States November 10th.
Nice. Good for you.
Thank you. This has been a long time coming, a big fight, very expensive. But the funny thing is, in the States, right, I worked as an electrician. That's what I did. Coming out to Brazil, it didn't work that well out here, right? It's real different as far as culture-wise. So I got into teaching. I've made a really good name for myself out here, and I made a decent living teaching out here in Brazil. Now, as I transition back to the States, so the funny thing out here in Brazil, you said my profession as it was a teacher, and my trade turned into electrical. It would be like a side gig, mostly as a hobby. I wasn't really making anything out of it, but I didn't want to lose that edge, I guess you can say.
Yes. Right.
So as I move back to the States, I'm probably going to have to switch the script, and I'll probably have to get back into electrical just because I need to earn money and probably do my teaching as a side hustle, as a side job until I can work. Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to do, because I want to get my feet under me. I want to get my feet under me financially. And I'm heading back to Southern Cal, and I really don't want to stay there. Hopefully things turn around. There's a recall election next week. But I've been talking to Michael Foster. He actually threw out his zip code. He's like, come out here, Finn. I'm like, oh, I would love to be part of what he's building, right? So I think that's really important, what you had said. And like, I put that on the list because as someone who follows you, I've heard you talk about this, and it really hits home, because I think most people should do that, right? And the fact that, I brought you on, and you know what I do, right? I teach English out here, and my audience is very international. And I wanted to bring you on, with your sage wisdom of life to help people to get unstuck, right? We've had a year and a half of chaos and uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you that maybe my audience can get from you is like, what would be some ways that you can handle anxiety or depression or uncertainty from life?
Well, the only certainty you're going to get is from yourself. You certainly don't get it from external circumstances. You don't get it from the news. You don't get it from the president. You don't get it from politicians. You don't get it from anywhere. So if you don't create your own peace, because there's always going to be crap going on in your life. If the locus of peace, the location of peace is not within you, you're in trouble. Then you will basically just be rolled over by every wave of paranoia, every wave of whatever the latest nonsense is to try to control people. That's just the way things are. So when it comes to anxiety, one of the things I've done is I unplug the TV, literally. I do have Netflix and Amazon because I'm a movie buff, but I like independent films. I'm not into Hollywood blockbusters. Excuse me a second. And so I turn on, watch a movie. When it's done, I turn it off. I don't watch the news at all. I haven't watched the news in 5 or 6 years. And I just think it's important that you become in control of your own emotions and not allow the fear delivery system of television to yank your emotions around. You're interacting with people whose emotions are affected by other people who are watching the fear delivery systems of news and radio and reading things on the internet that are not true or exaggerated or meant to persuade you, not inform you. So realize that most of the stuff that you take in every day is an intentional act on someone else's part to change you, to persuade you. And what you have to do is kind of break away from that. That's literally unplugging from the matrix. Everyone talks about unplugging. That's the true unplugging.
Yeah. So would you say that the cause of maybe a lot of this anxiety and depression can be related to mainstream media?
Of course.
Propaganda.
The very week that you turn off the television, the very week you stop reading the news, you feel better. That very week, literally, I challenge everyone to turn off the TV, turn off the news, don't watch the news at all. Don't read headlines. It's all meant to persuade you, not inform you. And the reality is, after 1 week, you'll literally feel better in your body. It's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't watch TV myself. One, I don't have time. I'm so busy from the time I wake up. I'm an early riser as yourself.
Right.
And and I go to bed late just because one of the things that I've done by choice is sacrifice a little bit of sleep, which I know you're not an advocate for, but I have sacrificed a little bit of sleep just to be able to do all I want to do in a day, as far as working out, giving classes, making content, being there for my wife, being there for my children. So I do not watch television. Now, I do on occasion. I like to watch snippets from YouTube videos, like Tucker, or just to get an idea of what's happening. But I do that just to be informed. Like I've by your recommendation, when I first discovered you, I read Man of The Way of Men and other stuff, and I like the analogy Jack Donovan gives about the campfire, and that's our realm. And I've used this analogy with my own wife, as far as sometimes she gets anxious and stressed when I notice she starts to take on parts of my role.
Yeah, sure.
And sure. I have to recalibrate and get her to understand. No, I need you. I need you in the center. I need you to make sure our kids are okay and things are in order, because that allows me because I consider that my backside, and that allows me to focus in front in the perimeter. So so I like to watch snippets and stuff just to get an idea of what's going on in the world. And I avoid it to be around my wife and stuff. And the funny thing is, like last night, I was listening to something a little bit, it's 9/11, right? And, you know, there was a commentation how, you know, the potato in the White House, how he didn't even give a live speech and whatever. And my wife started to get really anxious and upset. And I turned it off. I was like, I said, you see, this is why I got it. Just, you know, I need you here and taking care of stuff at home. So that's a big one. Now, to be informed, like, so I think to help balance with anxiety and stuff, I like to both exercise and I love reading. I know you're a big reader. How important is reading, would you say?
To me, it's food. Like skipping reading would be like skipping a cup of coffee or skipping a meal, skipping breakfast. I need that. I read about a half hour in my field, my industry, every single day. Been doing that for decades. That way I can speak intelligently with anybody in my field and be an expert in my field. And then I read what I call more like indulgent kind of stuff, more biographies and devotional stuff, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's good.
As far as my industry is concerned, you know, things that help strengthen a man. You know, here's a quote from one of my YouTube channel people that I watch. I only watch maybe a half dozen channels. I was watching Rich Cooper the other day, and he said something. The only thing he watches, they asked him if he watches manosphere content. He says the only thing he watches is sailing videos. And I agree with that. I watch tool restoration videos, camping videos. I watch only a handful of prepper kind of videos. But here's Patriot Nurse, and this is a woman that people are trying to fix me up with right now. But, she'd make a good wife, I think. Be a little bit challenging, but she says, if you think the men who took up arms to fight in 1776 didn't have families to feed, you're wrong. Don't hide behind your family or use them to justify your cowardice. Children need principles more than stuff. They need examples more than the newest toy. Women need men they respect as husbands. Family is why you lead, not why you follow.
That's
that spoke to me.
Powerful.
That spoke to me. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I actually saw that. I think it was you that reposted it or something. I saw that. Yeah.
Tremendous.
I think that is funny. I think we live in an age right now. I've been a few times on your brother's live streams, on his panels and stuff, and I've had a chance to talk to ADJ and lots of people in this area. I've had many opportunities to talk to Michael Foster. I mean, George, I can't emphasize enough, and this is one of the reasons why I reached out to you, to share you with the people that I know that are connected to me, because, you know, and this goes to people who follow me. I want to let them know that George Bruno, man, I discovered him. I'm coming on a year now, anniversary. It was around October when I got into.
Is it a year?
Yeah, I got into pipe smoking around October of last year. And when I'm into something, I want to research it and learn about it. And I came across one of your videos on how to smoke a pipe. That's when you had a beard about, you know, this long. You're in the Van Gogh room, but finding you through pipes has been one of the best kind of golden nuggets that a panhandler would get out of a river, because the sources that I've gotten just because of that, you know, getting in contact with you, seeing your interviews from last year's 21 convention, I got to know who all these men are. Elliot Halls, which I'm just getting in contact with right now with his King Transformation Program. Zach Small, which I'm a proud member of FOE since January, and I can't even begin to emphasize how that has been a powerful contribution in my growth as a man, father, husband.
I just had a phone call this morning. I just got off literally not long ago. Had an hour-long conversation with Texas Dom.
Yeah.
He's been a good friend. And he and I talk sometimes on Sunday mornings, a little before the an FOE call, Zoom call that y'all have.
Every Sunday,
and, So I had a good session with him today, because he and I are the same age, and we kind of view the world through similar lens, that kind of.
I hear you. So, what's funny? Like I don't know, maybe 20 years your junior, but I swear my spirit is right up there with you. I'm so old school. Like people look at me out,
Yeah.
look at me out here in Brazil, like I'm in the dark ages. I said, well, it reminds me about one of the videos that you had posted some time back about, your grandfathers didn't have it wrong, or that generation, they had it right. I can't remember the name of the video, but all I'm trying to emphasize here to my followers and bringing you on the kind of content that they can get from you, the kind of things that it's there's no price you could put on it. And I know, so I have a lot of followers in Iran. They need to use VPNs to access YouTube because YouTube is banned in Iran. But so it's been about a year since I've discovered who you are, and you yourself, by giving me, you and I went live on YouTube on your channel in December, and you gave me that big boost. Like I broke 1,000 since that interview, and it's been really good. So
that's great.
You have had a huge impact on my life. You and I have kept in contact here and there. It's not easy with my schedule and just distance and stuff, but you have had a huge impact, not just in the content that we've had, but the content that you create that I don't even think you realize how many lives that you've been able to impact. So that's why I wanted to bring you on here and just help share this sage wisdom of yours with my audience. So kind of getting back to some of the points I was making, right? So a lot of people suffer with anxiety, depression, this uncertainty. I see it around me. I think my wife, if she didn't have me in her life, she would spiral downhill because I'm a very cool, I try to be cool and solid as granite in the winter. I don't let things affect me. I let things bounce off of me. I like Steve the Dean Williams says, I square, I stand on my square. I stay in my lane and I don't get drawn off by the uncertainties. This thing about that you mentioned about being certain in yourself. And the funny thing, that's the exact argument I made to my wife when she was sharing with me her uncertainties about this move to America. And I told her, honey, there are no certainties in life. There are no guarantees. And she's like, so what are we doing? I said, because I know what I'm doing. Like, I know what I'm capable of. I know my strengths and weaknesses. I think that God has allowed me to go through so many different kinds of things, being homeless, being hungry, fighting and surviving, that how we say in FOE, I've put in the reps. So I've got this certainty that, okay, I don't know what is ahead of us, but I know that we'll be okay. And that being that strong man that she needs me to be has allowed her to kind of settle in her role as my support. So I want to use this kind of topic to transition or segue into this idea, like, Bruno, what are some good habits to have that can help, you could say, to give you an all-around mental and physical health?
Well, practice mindfulness, which is super important. That's going to be the key. I work with guys who are going through some pretty difficult times, and they can't seem to change tracks, change channels. It's like watching TV where the TV only has one channel, and you have to change the channel. Literally, you got to put something else on the screen of your mind. Can't be today's problems, can't be the uncertainty. So you do things like mindfulness exercises. And I'll just give you an example. A mindfulness exercise would be you're driving home from work or you're taking a walk or something, and you have 5 senses. So what I want you to do is look around you, literally look around you, and just take note of what you see. And name the things that you see. I see a pool in the backyard. I see patio chairs. I see a patio umbrella. I see a gas grill. I see propane gas tanks. I am seeing a cat house in the back. I'm seeing towels hanging on a clothesline. What else do I see out there? I see a beach chair. I see my dumbbells. I see a bottle of Windex. I see an umbrella. I see a bicycle seat, a pair of rollerblades, and I see a ladder. Now, that took, 30 seconds? That was 30 seconds that I wasn't thinking of my problem. Okay? I changed the channel. Now, what do I hear? I'm hearing traffic from the highway that's about a mile from me. Yeah. I'm hearing a helicopter overhead. I'm hearing the wind blow through the trees right now. The leaves are rustling. That's what I'm hearing. What do I smell? Well, I have something cooking in the slow cooker right now, and it's making my kitchen smell really nice right now. I got some turpentine for medicinal use, and that's still in my nose. I was smelling that this morning. And I like that. What else? What else am I smelling? I'm smelling the shea butter. I have sandalwood shea butter on my head and on my face. There's another 30, 40 seconds that I wasn't thinking of my problems. What am I feeling right now? So you go through all your 5 senses, but you must say it out loud. At the end of that mindfulness exercise, there was 5 minutes that you weren't ruminating on your issue, on your grief, on your uncertainty, on your anxiety, on your depression, on your troubled relationship. It works. Mindfulness exercises are beautiful things. So that might be the first time in someone's week, like when they do a mindfulness exercise using their 5 senses, it might be the first time in a week that they didn't think about their grief, that they didn't think about the state of the world, that they didn't think about their divorce. They're regaining power, and they're realizing that they have power over their world rather than the world having control of them. Simple. Anybody can do it.
That's good stuff, man. And I mean, thank you for arming me to kind of help others, because I've had the honor, I've had the privilege of teaching young teens, or adolescents, even people in their young 20s. They go through, I mean, every generation has had issues and problems. And nowadays you feel like it's been compounded, right? Where I live out here in Brazil, they put so much emphasis on a test called the ENEM. It's kind of like an American version of SAT, but there's so much more writing on it. And these kids got such pressure on them. And I'm an easygoing guy, and I try to let them know that it's just a test. I mean, I understand it's got a big portion of your education in the future, but I've used the analogy of like a water bottle. I would tell them to hold this water bottle in front of them. And I would ask them, is it heavy? They're like, no, it's not. I said, okay, keep your arm extended and don't move it. And I'd keep talking, and I'd go back to them. Is it heavier? Yeah, it is. Okay, but keep holding it, and I would go through this exercise with them. And how is it now after a few more minutes? Oh, it's so heavy, Mr. Finn. I said, okay, so let me ask you, okay, set it down. They set it down. So let me ask you something. Did the actual weight of the bottle change? They'd be like, no, it didn't, but it started to get heavier, right? And they said, yeah, it did. And I said, that's how a lot of our problems are in life. We all go through problems. People look at me and they think, oh, well, Mr. Finn, he's got a great life. He's always smiling, a good mood. No, people don't know half the crap I've got to go through and deal with. The thing is I don't dwell on it. And I'm really good at compartmentalizing and dealing with it when I can. And I use that as an exercise, as like, look, you got problems. We all do. Everyone's got issues, but we need to learn to set them down and focus on what we're focusing on now. And then when you have an opportunity, then pick it back up. And then you realize it won't be as heavy. And, that kind of exercise has worked to kind of bring that point across to people. But I love the mindfulness one. I've never really thought about it like that. In a way, it's kind of the same thing. Kind of you're changing your attention, right? You're moving direct on how you think. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's great stuff. It works. It works.
It does work. I think a lot has to do with perspective, right? I mean, it's a beautiful day, right? Good morning. And someone, good morning. What's that song? Good morning. I was like, come on. The morning doesn't change. It doesn't matter how you feel. It's a beautiful sunny day. Perspective is a real important thing. And I think a lot of people need to get control over. It circles back to what we were talking about, getting their head out of the media and out of the news. That is just
absolutely.
Right?
Totally. Just disconnect. You have to literally unplug. I mean, the phrase "unplug" was made popular by, the movie The Matrix, that kind of thing. So I think it's just has such application in our lives to unplug, literally disconnect, pull the plug on things.
Yeah, I agree 100%. This is one of the few reasons why I'm making this move back. Like financially, work-wise, I'm okay here where I live in Brazil. I work well. I'm able to make a good living. I support my family. I have been able to allow my wife not to work outside of the house to raise my kids. But I'm making this move back because I want her to become a citizen because it'll make our lives easier. B, I want to raise my kids around family to have the support, and I want to take them out. I want to take them outdoors, like how I grew up doing, camping, fishing, these things that it's not very common out here in Brazil. And I want to do these things with them to unplug. My wife does agree. She does see a lot of things that I see, the way I see them, as far as like, we don't really have TV in the house. The kids, they watch what we program on the TV as far as Netflix or YouTube. Television,
Sure.
It's not even connected. Like we don't get even basic TV. It's a monitor that we put on what we want to put on. So I really agree with that. Let me ask you about change. You have made a pretty big change about 10 days ago now, or a week ago, a visual change.
Yeah.
I myself am a person who I like change. I didn't realize it I didn't realize it until my wife brought it to my attention, how much I change, how often I change. But I think it's important. I want to ask you, you do this every 10 years, you had said in one of your videos, right? You shave it all. How important is change in our lives? Or is it important?
I think it's important. I think what it does, it cross-trains you for growth, show, like, a lot of people trust in their hair. I say, free yourself from the tyranny of hair. And I've got hair. I shaved my head and I have hair. I shave my beard. I go to a goatee. I go to Fu Manchu. I go to all kinds of weird facial hair things. I had a big beard. I had a short beard. I had hair. Now I don't have hair. So now I'm enjoying a bald head. I'll do this until I'm tired of my bald head and I'll grow my hair back. I believe it's important to have fluidity in your life. When it comes to your values, keep them firm. But when it comes to everything else, have a loose grip on everything. Have a loose grip on everything. Did I shave my head because I want a new look? Not at all. I did it for what it does to me inside. I see somebody different when I look in the mirror now. It literally jumpstarts change in my life. I'm working on things, and this just kind of kicked my butt a little bit. Will I grow the hair back? Yeah, probably this winter I'll grow my hair back and have my normal haircut that I usually have. But right now I'm just going to enjoy a bald head, and and it's been fun observing the responses of men, of women who are like bald head aficionados are coming out of the woodwork. The women that I'm courting in my life on a more of a closer level are like completely 100% loving it. Some people have said, why would you do that? Other people have said, oh, I'm digging the change, and guys that are bald said, finally you joined the club. And I said, well, that's cool, but not for long, because before you know it, I'll be growing my hair back again. But the reality is, things that you do, you got to be open to change, because change can flip a switch inside of you. And I always say, be open to all experiences, because you never know which one of those experiences is going to flip the switch that is going to make you unrecognizable by this time next year. So what if you've never been ripped before? What if you've never had low body fat? I went from a kind of a chubby-ish kind of guy to like a lean guy. I like being trim. I don't want to be jacked. I don't want to take steroids. I don't need TRT. I get my boners work just fine. I want a lean, trim look. I float when I walk. I feel great. I sleep great. So the benefits certainly outweigh everything else. So change yourself. Change yourself. Go down a size in your clothing. I used to go down a size in my clothing and keep my bigger clothes in the back of the closet. When I started losing weight and working out, and I've always worked out. I've always been, you know, kind of in shape. Even when I was fatter, I was still, my fat was evenly distributed in such a way where people would think I was in shape, but my lab work was telling me that I wasn't in shape. But the one thing I did this time around that I didn't do before, and I'd say this is like in the past couple of years, was that I donated all my larger size clothes. I didn't keep them as a backup plan. So a lot of people will lose weight, but put their fat pants and their fat shirts in the back of the closet. So just in case they gain weight again, they have the backup fat pants. You know, they have the 38, the 40-inch waist jeans in the back of the closet or the drawer. Okay. I got myself down to a 34-inch waist. I feel friggin' great. I feel great. I had a 40-inch waist before and a belly. Now I got a 34-inch waist and I got a flat stomach. I feel good. I'm much thinner than I was. It just makes me feel good mentally. I can do more. It showed me that I have control over myself, that cakes and pizzas and pastas, you know, don't rule my life. My stomach doesn't rule my life. So I like to master all areas of my life. Every hunger and every thirst that I have literally mastered. Some people call it like a monk mode or something like that. There's different words for it, but I've mastered everything except probably my mouth. I still got a pretty foul mouth on occasion.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And yeah.
Happens.
And that's usually the last frontier. That's the hardest thing to control. There's even scripture that talks about, you know, the mouth, the tongue is like the rudder of just a tiny rudder can move a very large ship, or a tongue is like a little spark that can cause a forest fire.
It's in James, right? He talks about, it's like the bit in the mouth of a horse, the bit. Yeah. You just change it. The tongue, like the rudder of a ship. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do agree a lot about what you say about this idea of change. It's important. It a lot, like, I like the fact because it's important to be on your toes, you know, because I think familiarity breeds complacency. When you get too comfortable, then you're not ready for, you know, especially what's coming down the pike. We have no idea. One of the things, like I mentioned, I'm ready for this big change in our lives because I've gone through so many, and my assurance, my ease, like I'm not stressing. It helps my wife to be cool because she even looks at me. She's even told me on more than one occasion that I have like a supernatural patience. It's just because I've learned how to classify things in like two camps. Like, I either have some kind of control over it where I'm going to invest energy and time in it, or it's out of my control. So why am I going to waste valuable energy and time on it?
Exactly. Why would you waste time? It's kind of like what that serenity prayer says, you know, having the wisdom to know the difference between the things you can change and the things that you can't change. I don't worry about the things that I can't change.
Yeah.
They don't keep me awake. They don't bother me. They don't stress me out.
I'm the same way. I sleep well at night. I wake up, I work hard. Now, as far as like changing looks, it was funny because getting ready for the consulate interview with my wife, we were gathering some photos and stuff just to we had to prove our relationship. And my wife and I were both kind of laughing at each other because her and I are both like this. Like, we've been together for 7 years, and we look from the very beginning to the very end. My goodness, both of us, like, my hair has gone from like black it's kind of, I'm letting it go natural now because I kind of dyed it for her in the very beginnings of the relationship. She liked the dark hair, but now I'm letting the whites come out. But I went from dark hair to blonde hair to long hair to short hair. Yeah. When I first met her, I had a clean beard. She didn't want me to shave it, but like you, I like to change. I shaved it, and then she didn't want me to grow it back. I grew it back when she was pregnant with my daughter. I let it grow down. You can see some of my early YouTube videos where it's like nice and kind of like a Spartan look. I shaved it off. I kind of want to grow it back. We'll see. But yeah, I like this idea of change. But even when it comes to like jobs, like I was thinking about this recently. I swear, I don't think I've been in the same job, like at the same place for more than maybe 5 years. I think the longest I've ever been at a place was probably 10 years, but I left because I moved. So I've always changed, even the places where I've worked, where I've lived. And I think it's good, right? Because, you know, I took notes here as you're talking about this idea of growth. And I think real growth only comes from I don't want to say the hardships. I mean, yes, the hardships, but the challenges.
Cross-training. Cross-training, that's what it is. Yeah.
Cross-training, the challenges that come with certain kinds of changes, you know, where you're forced to be resilient or to dig deep to parts of yourself that you maybe didn't realize you had until you're forced to use them. And I've been I've been a big advocate as far as a language teacher out here in Brazil about this idea of get out of your comfort zone. You know, too many people, they say they don't know English. Like I talk to them, I'm fluent in Portuguese, right? And I'm out here in Brazil, but I speak English almost everywhere I go. Partially as a marketing scheme, you know, I'm an English teacher. If you want some classes, hey, hit me up. But also I look at it as like throwing out bait to see what kind of big fish I could catch. I want to see who speaks or not, because a lot of people, they have the info, they know it, but they lack that fortitude or that courage to step out there. They're too stuck in their comfort zone. And I'm a big advocate of step out of your comfort zone. You're not going to grow otherwise. And using the analogy of like at the gym, our muscles only develop when we break them down through resistance, you know, and it's the same concept. We need resistance in life. Right? Gravity, if we didn't have gravity, our muscles would atrophy, you know.
The idea is progressive resistance. Like you can handle more stress now than you can 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The things that would have destroyed you, you know, 5 years ago, you just kind of just brush off right now. You think, oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. So we encounter new challenges every day, every week, every month.
And
you know, my coach basically, every coach needs a coach, just in the same way that every therapist needs a therapist. My coach, for instance, my goal is to make $1 million in a 12-month period. I've never done that before. And he said, okay, let's break it down to the month, the week, and the day. He says, if you want to make $1 million a year, you need to make $3,000 a day. That's what he said to me. So have I had some $3,000 days? Yeah, here and there, but every day has to be a $3,000 day. And I said, how do I do that? His exact words to me were, you need $3,000 a day habits. Boy, that was just like getting punched in the face. And I'm thinking, I don't have $3,000 a day habits. I do on occasion, but I don't on a regular basis. Super, super important. Anyone who wants to make $1 million a year needs to have $3,000 a day habits.
Well, it's not easy.
Period. I know it. And that's got to be your goal. It can't be, well, I just made enough just to pay the rent. My whole thing is positive cash flow. I want to make more today than it costs me to live. So I need to get out of the positive cash flow attitude. Okay, let's just say it costs me $110 a day to live, between rent, between insurances, food, you know, gas in the truck and all this kind of stuff. My normal expenditures. If I just get by my attitude used to be, whew, I'm doing better. I made more today than it cost me to live. I had to break out of that and say, my new goal is $3,000 a day. That's what I want to do. So every step I take, every email I send, every keystroke on my phone, on my PC has to be for this one thing, $3,000 a day. How can I generate $3,000 a day? Period. That's my coach. Another thing my coach product that he wanted me to edit, because I wrote a book analog style. I took 2 yellow pads. Yellow pads are about 50 pages each. So I wrote a 100-page book, 2 yellow pads. And he says, you mean you didn't type it? And he goes, that's how I know that you're older. He goes, you write all your stuff. I said, I do. I write. I go through yellow pads like you have no idea.
George, I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. I use notebooks still, and I transfer it to the computer afterwards.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, where can I find someone to transcribe this stuff? Because, and you don't find transcriptionists anywhere. I'm like, God, I used to be able to find them everywhere. So now I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe I'll make it into an ebook rather than a written book, or turn it into a video course. That way I don't have to write it again twice. You know what I mean? So he says, okay, when will you get this done, this editing done and this transcription done? I said, by the end of October. Now, this was back in July. I said, by the end of October, I should have it done, because I still cut hair a couple days a week, and I do my content creation. I have my YouTube channel. I do my social media, which is another job I have.
That everybody, and really quick, that everybody needs to follow, because nuggets of gold, pearls of wisdom, and literally everything that you post. And I just want to throw that. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But it's
that's
great
right.
content.
Well, every one of those nuggets of gold has been bathed in blood, sweat, and tears. None of that stuff is thrown out haphazardly. If I speak something with conviction, it's because I either bled over it, cried over it, or it caused me pain. Yeah, sometime in my life. So a 25-year-old guy talking about the same stuff that I'm talking about just doesn't have the same impact, because I know he didn't cry and bleed over those things. He might have had a bad weekend. I've had bad decades. You know what I mean? I've had decades that sucked in my life and that I reflect upon. I didn't just have bad days or a bad week. I had bad decades. I could look back on this decade and say, oh, what was I thinking? And this kind of stuff. Anyways, so by the end of October was my goal. And my coach said, and I meet with my coach every 2 weeks, and I pay a lot of money to my coach. And this is why I'm so big into hard deadlines and accountability, because this is what he does with me. He says, I know what you want to do, and I know why you're giving yourself that timeline, but I want it done in 2 weeks. He says, well, we meet again in 2 weeks. He says, if you don't have it done, I won't be your coach anymore. He says, I don't need your money. I don't need you. You need me. And I was flabbergasted. I'm like, holy crap. Like, wow. And I really value this guy. I value his opinion and pay a lot of money for it. So that's why I think coaches are so important for every area in life, to help you tweak. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a private community. Every man needs a private community of men. Those two things make you unstoppable. So I got it done in 2 weeks. He said, did you finish your project? First question he asked, did you finish your project that we agreed to? I said, yeah. And he goes, okay. I'm like, well, you don't want to see it? Like, he says, if you're lying to me, you're only lying to yourself. He goes, I'll take your word for it that you finished it. I said, okay, I get that. I see where he's coming from now. Smart. If you don't finish your projects and reach your goals, you're only lying to yourself. And there's so many people out there just lying to themselves. about their greatness and how great they are, and the hyperbole that is used, especially on Twitter and on just everywhere. There's so much hyperbole. You know, the truth about this, let's expose this, expose the fraud here. Everyone's a fucking fraud. Everybody is. And the people ramming it up our butts, all this fraud stuff, are the biggest frauds themselves. There's people who have turned their entire social media into exposing this and that.
Yeah.
Okay, just wait. It'll be your turn soon. It'll be your turn soon. So my attitude is this: live and let live. Live and let live. There are periods of time in my life that I was ashamed of, embarrassed of. There's pictures that were taken of me that, my God, I would never want anyone to see. There were recorded words or texts from me that I wouldn't want to be put out there. Everybody has that stuff. But how come people don't see that? Why do people try to act better than? You know, and it just takes getting knocked down a few times to see that. That's why I watch camping videos. I don't watch psychosphere, manosphere stuff anymore, because all it is just guys puffing themselves up. Literally 99% of it is bullshit. All of the content creators, you know, and I know, even the authors of books, most are full of shit.
Yeah.
Most are full of shit. But I'm not going to go on my YouTube channel because I know all the guys personally.
Mm-hmm.
I know them. I have texts from them. What I'm not going to do is get on and do a video how this person's a phony, a fake, a fraud, how they're really this way, but they're acting this way. You know what? Everyone's got shit in their life.
Yep.
That's why I have a little more grace in my life about these people. You know, there's been this thing now, you know, I'll just say it out loud. Bobby Dino slamming Jack Murphy. I like Bobby Dino and I like Jack Murphy, but I'm not going to take sides because I like both guys. Did Jack have some interesting stuff going on in his life at one time that he might be ashamed of? Sure. Absolutely. Who the fuck didn't?
Right.
Just because you tell your fucking story, how you were in jail for 10 years, you're now better than the guy who did XYZ. Bobby Dino, I like the shit out of you, dude. I like you. So stop putting people down. Jack Murphy. Did you ever notice the people who stopped putting people down are the ones becoming millionaires? They're the ones who are becoming successful because they're flying high now. They're way above the criticisms. And who's doing all the criticizing on YouTube and the manosphere? People who are broke mentally and psychologically. They're not successful. And shame on you, not you personally, Mike.
I know.
But shame on anyone who watches that garbage. It's no different than the news. It's not meant to inform you. It's meant to persuade you. And what camp is better? This camp of men or this camp of men?
Yeah.
Okay. I no longer speak with a certain group of people. Ooh, that means I'm with this group of people. It's like, shut the fuck up, will you? You sound like a bunch of goddamn fucking fifth graders. You sound like a bunch of kids in a sandlot, little rascals. The He-Man Woman Haters Club. No women allowed, and no betas, and blue pills, or purple pills, or black. Fuck all your pills. Excuse me, Michael. Excuse me.
It's okay. It's okay.
If there's anyone here watching who even says the word pill, you're a fucking idiot.
I was asked
your pill. Take your pill and shove it up your ass because it's useless.
Hey, I was asked. Go ahead. I mean, I just want to say, I was asked one time on one of your brother's streams. You know, hey Finn, what pill are you? I'm like, I'm the family pill, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm an alpha in my own realm. I run my family. I work hard. So I'm the family pill. That's it.
Right. Well, this is what I say. Take the adult pill. Grow the fuck up. If you're a man, if you're over 18 years old, the only pill you should be taking is the adult pill. Period. Now, I do understand red pill truths.
Yeah,
and
me
the
too.
practice of red pill life and holding frame and so forth and being a man. I understand that. I get that. But if you teach that stuff like a third grader in a treehouse, you're an asshole.
You know what, George? I mean, one of the things I love about you and your content, what you do, is you're trying to lift men up, right? And I understand, some guys like yourself, I was also divorced. I went through hard times and I didn't have what I have discovered through you a year ago. I've had to learn how to tread these waters of life by myself through the work ethic that I got from my father. Cause that's the only thing he really taught me was good work ethic and to be a man of my word. Other than that, I had to learn how to take ownership of my own actions and the consequences thereof by myself. And one of the things that I've learned, and through you and the content that I've gotten from you and the people that I've gotten to know because of you, is I lean more towards the ones who kind of give you that boost, the training wheels on the bike to get you back on track and then set you off to go and fly and not keep you in the scum, in the lower depths.
I challenge anybody to go to my YouTube channel. If you find a negative video, email me, gb@georgebruno.com, and I will delete it. When people started doing all these expose the frauds and all this bullshit, I actually went through 1,000 videos, and I know right now, what do I have? I forget, maybe 1,600, 1,700 videos. I have a lot of videos. And I said, I am not going to be part of this bullshit. I am not going to be part of this. So I probably eliminated minimum 30 or 40 videos that were making me money. They were monetized. I had a talk with my brother Tony about this. He did a video on what has the manosphere done right? I get that. He gets so many views. And then the next week he did, what has the manosphere done wrong? And it got 5 times as many hits. And I'm like, see what's going on there? The negative draws more than the positive. So when people start doing that, it's clickbait. It's Maury Povich. It's TMZ. It's Jerry Springer. Yeah, exactly. I don't want that. When you look at all these fucking channels with nothing but a bunch of emojis with fake fucking names, having a whole fucking show where nobody shows their name or their fucking face.
Yeah, what are you hiding?
Right here. Right here. To all of them. Honest to God, show your fucking face, put out your real fucking name, and stop putting people down. You sound like a douchebag.
Yeah.
And shove your pills up your ass. I get pretty passionate about this because it's very divisive. There's people who won't fucking talk to me because of something that somebody else said.
Ridiculous.
My response is this right here. For instance, Bobby Dino, how fucking dare you talk about Jack Murphy? Jack Murphy made, and I will say this to your face, Bobby Dino, come live with me. I like you, man, and I know you like me. Let's talk about this. Me and Coach Greg Adams, we're going to fucking kill each other. You don't know that, do you? Me and Coach Greg Adams, we're going to fucking kill each other.
I don't know that. I didn't know that.
At one point. Right now, Coach Greg is a friend of mine. And it all had to do with tribes, this fucking tribal bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick and tired of it. I like Bobby Dino and I like Jack Murphy. And I refuse to put down Bobby Dino. I refuse to put down Jack Murphy. I know the changes that they both have made in their lives, which were drastic. And I'd rather elevate both of them and say, hey, man, you both made some great changes. You both fucking rock. You both do. Period.
I know exactly what you mean, right? Because I feel a little bit in the same way, because I really enjoy ADJ's content when he's not trying to bash stuff, right? It's
APJ, Anthony Paul Johnson.
Yeah.
Anthony Paul Johnson, okay? Don't put the D in there.
All right. I didn't know the P part, but I love the content he makes when it's uplifting and it's useful. The other stuff, I don't give it my time of day. And then because in the stuff that happened between him and then you and Zach, it's I don't get, because I love your stuff. I love, Zach is doing great work with the men community he's in. I've not only reaped the benefits of it, but I'm trying to also contribute to that. And I kind of find myself sometimes kind of in middle ground, because people want to camp me somewhere, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I
Refuse to do it.
well, that's why I go back to the family.
Refuse to do it. Take the adult pill.
Yeah, that's
Take
why.
the adult. Go to whatever fucking men's community you want. Go to whatever fucking convention you want. Do whatever the fuck you want. That doesn't mean endorsement. That doesn't mean endorsement. If you want to go somewhere with a group of guys that you enjoy, go.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you hate this group of guys. Okay. There's a bunch of guys who won't talk to me now. All right, fuck you. Okay.
I think it's really petty.
I thought we were friends, but fuck you then. Yeah. Simple as that. You know?
Yeah, I think it's really petty, and you know, hopefully things will get better, because like I said, the content and the stuff that you make and that I've gotten because of the people you've introduced, it's really good stuff for a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people. Yeah. And the problem is that the guys that need it need to take what they can get from it and then grow and fly and, you know, find their way, you know. And
everybody I know that is successful financially and doing well in their life has separated from these tribes. Mm-hmm. Your tribes are not going to, your tribes just give you a little stability, a little bit of camaraderie, but they don't affect your bank account.
No, that's fun. That's what I tell my wife when she says, "Oh, this person says this. They think this about you." And I said, "I don't care. They don't pay my bills. I literally don't care what they think or say. I can count on my hand the number of people whose opinions about me really matter. Other than that, okay." What did Winston Churchill once say? If you have enemies, good. It means you stood for something once in your life, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's the exact point. I mean, there's good stuff out there, and the main reason I wanted to bring it here is because I know that what you do is phenomenal. You have helped so many people, including myself, and I wanted to get the people that I know that are connected to me around the world. They're in Iran, Iraq, Russia, India.
Stay positive. Avoid the negative. Stay positive. Only consume positive content that's going to help you grow. You never improve yourself by tearing other people down.
I agree. Standing
improve yourself.
Yeah, standing on the backs and heads of others to grow is not real growth. I'm all for that analogy. A rising tide lifts all ships. Like as an English teacher, I have seen people on Instagram, for example, I was bigger than them, but I've helped them out. I'm all about helping, and they've blown past me. Like, they've already reached over 10,000, and I'm like, good for them. I mean, I only do as much as I can because I got a lot going on in my own life, and I don't hate on them. Great. I look at it as an accomplishment to them, and I hope that I was able to have had a contributing part in that, because to me that's good. There's enough to spare.
I look at people like Rich Cooper. He and I were neck and neck for a few years, growth wise. Something happened. I think we were both on YouTube at about 75,000. Then all of a sudden he got to 90, then 100, 150. I'm at now like 167,000 followers on YouTube. He's got twice as many. But his growth happened when he separated from all the negativity and said, fuck all this bullshit. Stop it. Now, since then, he is in millionaire status, something he didn't have before. He has grown incredibly. I don't agree with everything that anybody says. So do I agree with everything Rich says? No. Do I respect the hell out of him? Heck yes. And he's a great example. Everyone I know who separated from the various men's communities is now a success. All the people who are still bitching and moaning about this guy and that guy, none of them have a nickel to rub together, and they're just all bitter little bitches. They're just like little girls. They're like little boys in a
It's like back in high school, like kids. Yeah, I know.
It's not even high school; it's grade school.
Yeah, you know? And it's really sad.
So I look at guys like that, and I say, they are the example for me. Rich blew past me because I refused to grow. I wanted to remain part of a tribe. He unplugged, and he literally kind of like 4x'd his life, literally. So now he's got twice as many followers. He doesn't have to work his job anymore. And he's a good example. But people who refuse to look at that, they're going to bitch and moan and say he's a grifter, he's this and that. And that was a word that was going around a lot this year, this grifter thing. Yeah. It's like, anyone who even says the word grifter is probably a douchebag anyways. Okay. I mean, honest to God, I never criticize another man's hustle. I never criticize. There are men out there who are like dating coaches. Okay. And they work with guys who have no clue about women. I get that. I totally friggin' get that. I never had that issue in my life. I've always had 100% satisfaction. I've never been displeased. I've been displeased at various breakups, my divorce, and so forth. But the reality is, I have a few nuggets that I could share with men. I'm not a dating coach by any stretch of the imagination. But the guys that are helping women with that, I 100% get it. I get it. And if you can help a man, suck his stomach in, get a little muscle, understand a little game, have a little bit of indifference and scarcity as he approaches a woman, you know what? You help the guy. Yeah. You help them. There's no one else is doing that. I'm not fucking accepting the world as it is. I'm not. I'm making the world. I want to create it. I create my own life. Teach people to create their own lives, not just be happy little robots in their situation. You can change your life.
I agree.
Simple as that.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree what you say too about the importance of coaches and stuff too. I'm pretty firm in who I am, what I believe, what I can do, where my weaknesses are. In fact, I'm getting in contact now with Elliot Halls, because one of the areas, because I've gotten a lot out of being a part of FOE. It's amazing, but I need a little more. I need a little more of a personal, you could say, accountability or even guidance, because like I had said before, I didn't really have the proper male training growing up, right? Because my parents split when I was 8 years old, and I'm the oldest of 4 boys. So a lot of how to be a man I've learned through the school of hard knocks and just living life. So the 2 areas that I'm the weakest on, and I know it, and hoping that I can kind of get this from, is getting back in proper shape. I've got limitations as far as bad shoulders. I've had surgery. I've always been an athlete, lifting weights, but my adult life has just been so kind of chaotic and just kind of survival that I'm like an accordion, fat and thin and this and that. So I'm getting in contact with Elliot Halls to try to just get in the best kind of physical and lean shape I can be in. And also one of the areas I need some kind of coaching on is just how to make what I do grow. Cause I'm really good at making money. I've never not had a job. I could go anywhere in the world, like you had mentioned before, and I can work. I'm an outgoing person. I'm not shy. I have skills. I'm an electrician. I'm a knife maker. I can do all kinds of stuff. And now as an English teacher, the thing is I've just never learned how to make what I make grow. And so these are the areas that I'm trying to get some kind of coaching in where I can do better, because my aim as a family man is to be the best that I can for my family and to lead them to greener pastures, cleaner waters.
It happens when you are optimized, when you become the best that you can be, the best, as to use a overused phrase, the best version of yourself. I like to say the optimized version of yourself. Yeah. And you do it for you, and then everything else kind of falls into place after that.
Yeah. And a lot of that has been happening after I joined the men group, right? I can't push it enough. Anybody's watching, if you need a group of men, that fraternity of excellence is just an amazing place to be. The guys there, they don't take your shit, and they challenge you, and they want you to grow, not because they're arrogant, because it's a fraternity of excellence, to be the most excellent version of yourself that you can be. And I have already made, you could say I don't say extreme changes, but great growth within the last 9 months of being there, 8 months of being there, as a father, as a husband, and as a man. It's taken what I was already being pretty good at and refined it to be better. And I'm trying to focus on these other aspects, which I know that are weak on. So, I don't want to keep you too long, George. I know you're egging, you're working on that 3K a day, and I don't want to take any more of your valuable time. I did pin a question up here that my younger brother, he's watching, asked.
Go ahead. What is it?
It's on the bottom of the screen. He wants to know, he says, what advice do you have, George, for people who keep hitting the wall and they want to quit, they want to give up?
Quit. Maybe you are, number one, that's part of the whole Vince Lombardi, quitters never win, winners never quit. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there is a time to retire and quit. Maybe try something else. The idea is, if you keep doing something and it keeps failing, maybe it's the thing. Maybe it's not you. Don't take full responsibility. Maybe it's not you. Maybe something needs to be tweaked. Maybe your sweet spot isn't hitting the ball. The reality is, maybe you need to change something. Maybe you need to shock yourself. That's why I say, shave your head, grow a beard, take an ice bath. There are people, when I look at people like Jeff Putnam.
Yeah, he's in the Pursuit of Excellence. He does great.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's there.
Jeff Putnam, just a couple years ago, was a breakfast cook at Denny's. A breakfast cook at Denny's. Boy, that's a real, God bless him for getting up early and flipping pancakes and whatever. But the reality is, a couple years ago, he was a breakfast cook at Denny's. Now, look where he is now. He's doing well. He got to the point where he's making enough money where his wife doesn't have to work. She can actually be a wife and a mother in his household. He made a change. He didn't keep doing the same thing over and over again. So the wall is irrelevant. Tell your brother the wall is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Stop. Maybe you need to change something. It's like a woman who just keeps meeting abusive men. My question is, well, like, where do you keep meeting these men? She might say, well, biker bars and AA meetings. Well, duh. Well, no shit, And nothing against AA and nothing against biker bars, because I spend most of my, when I go out, I usually go to a biker bar rather than a club, because I find the
music better. Yeah.
The music is great, and I just find that the company is just real. I really like it. So, but the reality is that if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you get the same result. You have to try things different and eliminate the wall. You eliminate the wall by trying something different, literally.
Change directions, right? Don't look at the wall. Don't look for the wall.
There's people who have YouTube channels that suck and they can't get over a certain amount of, well, then try a different, you don't have to quit. Just try a different type of content. Yeah. Try something different. Maybe you'll grow if you try something different. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Mine, yeah. I'm actually proud of mine. It's growing steadily. It's slow but steady. But it's funny thing is, I'm in a niche where there's a lot of already successful people out there. But I'm very proud of the fact that it's a constant, slow growth. And so it's good. I enjoy it. I enjoy putting that content out there because my aim is to help. And I do hope to one day be able to monetize it where I'm compensated for my work, whereas the people I'm helping, they're getting it for free. I'm trying to reach that angle.
Yeah.
And the stupid policy, the stupid policy nowadays, they're already putting ads in my videos and I don't get a single cent of it. Jerks.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I know. I know.
That's okay. Anyways, George, like I said, I don't want to keep you much longer. I really appreciate you being here. One last question I've got for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're about 20 years my senior. I have a feeling I know the answer to this question because I kind of give it to the younger people that I teach. Does it ever get any easier, my friend?
Things do get easier because you learn lessons. If you keep making the same mistakes, you're bound to keep getting the same consequences all the time. So, for instance, like for me, when I started working on myself and women started chasing me, so to speak, rather than me doing all the chasing, that got old real quick. I like to say that I haven't had a bad experience with a woman in years now. Years. Not because women changed, but because I changed. So the things that were, what's the word? Intimidating. The women that were intimidating to me when I was younger, I'm talking, 20 years ago, whatever, 15, 20 years ago, are nothing to me now.
Yeah.
It means nothing to me. It's literally insignificant. So does it get easier? Yes. As your habits become more solidified, as you stick with a system, you have to have a systemized way of conducting your life, getting up at the same time, producing that $3,000 a day literally is going to take habits that are literally etched in stone. You can't deviate from them at all. You have to eliminate negativity from your life, criticizing others. That just can't be part of your life at all. Can't be part of your life at all. You have to. I never started growing or stacking until I literally separated myself from the negativity. Like I said, I went through every video on my YouTube channel. I may have missed some, but I eliminated everything that could possibly be negative or associate me with negativity. I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. So there are people that I'm supposed to be enemies with, that I enjoy now.
Yeah.
They're on my cell phone. I can text them, talk to them anytime I want. And they're names that you think I would be at odds with. Let me put it this way. Don't follow the trends in any group of people. I don't like for instance, I stopped saying the word manosphere. I like to say the men's development arena.
Mm-hmm.
I like that much better. I just think men's development is more positive. The other one is just like this weird collection. It's like the Star Wars bar scene, the original Star Wars bar. It's what it's a Fellini parade. It's just like one weirdo after another and hyperbole everywhere. And I'm just like, oh. So when I heard Cooper say the other day he watches nothing but sailing videos, I'm like, dude, really? Like, I watch camping videos. I get it.
I watch food videos.
Yeah.
Cooking.
I do not consume that kind of content anymore. Have zero interest in it. Zero. Because when I see what it has done to relationships, when I see what it has done to my own family, when I see what it has done between me and my brother, I don't like it. I don't like it. When it gets in between, when it starts affecting your personal life, you're like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I want this out. I need to put my finger down my throat and throw this shit up. I need to get it out of my system. So you have to do kind of like the social version of inducing vomiting.
An
and
exorcism.
Just get that stuff. Yeah, an exorcism, and just get it out. And it might seem empty at first, but the reality is this. It'll show you how much time you've wasted on stuff that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. What matters is the adult pill. Take care of yourself, take care of your family. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. George, that's amazing. I really appreciate this. Thank you very much for giving me an hour or so of your Sunday morning, afternoon. It's been great. I hope my audience really appreciates this and you. I want to, once again, encourage them to check you out. Your Instagram, you post a lot of interesting stuff. Your YouTube is amazing. He's on Patreon now, guys. Get on his mailing list. It's what is it, JB? What's your mailing list again?
If they just go to georgebruno.com, they can opt in. That means they give me their permission to send them emails. And I send out emails several times a week, if not daily.
Yeah, I get him. His writing is really good. Yeah. Often, how he says himself, if you like his work, his writing is some of his best work. So good stuff. George, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I want to wish you the best day. All right?
Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you. Take care of yourself. Guys, you know how I end it. I'm Mr. Finn, and I'll catch you later. Bam!
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video, so you must have liked it. If you haven't subscribed yet, come on, press the subscribe button, and don't forget to binge on one of the playlists that I have on my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.